Here's the paradox. The more competent people become, the more likely they are to feel like frauds. Study after study on high achievers finds the same pattern. Surgeons who've completed thousands of operations, executives running entire divisions, PhD students months from graduation, all of them quietly convinced that any day now, someone is going to figure out they don't belong. Think about the last time you got praised for something you worked hard on. Did you actually take the compliment? Or did some part of you immediately start building a case for why it didn't count? Maybe you got lucky. Maybe the bar was low. Maybe they just haven't looked closely enough yet. If that sounds familiar, here's the question worth sitting with. Why does getting better at something so often make you feel worse about your own ability? You're watching Wiser You, and this one is for anyone who has ever finished a big project and felt relief instead of pride. It's for the straight-A student who studies like they're failing. It's for the new manager who reads every email twice before hitting send, certain this is the message that exposes them. By the end of this video, you'll understand why your brain does this to you, and more importantly, you'll walk away with a way to catch it happening in real time before it talks you out of the next opportunity you've actually earned. Most people assume imposter syndrome is about low self-esteem. It isn't. The people who experience it most intensely are usually high performers with a track record to prove it. The problem isn't a lack of evidence, it's how the brain weighs that evidence. Here's what's actually happening. Psychologists Pauline Clance and Suzanne Imes first documented this pattern in high-achieving women in the late 1970s, and later research expanded it across genders and professions. What they found is that certain people develop a mental habit of explaining away their own success. A win gets filed under luck, timing, or other people's generosity. A mistake gets filed under proof. The brain isn't neutral here. It's running a rigged accounting system where success is always an anomaly and failure is always the truth coming out. Researchers call this an attribution bias, which just means your brain has a default explanation it reaches for automatically. For someone with imposter syndrome, that default explanation for good outcomes is external. I got lucky. And the default explanation for bad outcomes is internal. I'm not good enough. Flip that around for someone with healthy confidence and you get the opposite pattern. Same events, completely different story attached to them. Here's the line worth remembering. Imposter syndrome doesn't lie to you about your abilities. It lies to you about what your abilities prove. Picture a new hire sitting in her first big client meeting. She answers a tough question well. The client nods, impressed. In that exact moment, her brain isn't registering, I handled that. It's registering, I got away with that. Same event, two people in the room could walk away with opposite internal reports. One says, I did that. The other says, I don't know how I did that and I hope no one asks again. That's the mechanism. It's not about what you've accomplished, it's about which explanation your brain reaches for first when something goes right, and how much weight you give that explanation compared to the one your brain reaches for when something goes wrong. Once you can see that gap, you can start to catch it. So why does this pattern take hold in some people and not others? There are a few forces working together, and once you see them, you'll probably recognize yourself in at least one. The first cause is what psychologists call a shifting reference point. Every time you learn something new, your sense of what competent even means moves with you. A first-year doctor feels confident diagnosing common illnesses. A 10th-year doctor has seen enough rare, confusing cases that their bar for actually knowing medicine keeps climbing out of reach. Picture two doctors standing in the same hallway. The junior one feels sure of herself. The senior one, who has objectively saved more lives, feels like she's still catching up. Competence didn't shrink, the finish line just kept moving. The second cause is comparison built on incomplete information. You see other people's finished work, you see your own unfinished doubts. A colleague presents a polished report and you only see the confident 30 minutes at the front of the room. You don't see the 4 drafts he threw out the night before, the messages to a friend asking if this even makes sense. Your brain compares your behind-the-scenes footage to everyone else's highlight reel, and the comparison always loses. The third cause is early feedback that got internalized as identity instead of information. Maybe a teacher once said you were the smart one, and somewhere along the way, being smart stopped being something you do and became something you have to defend. Every hard problem starts to feel less like a normal challenge and more like a test that could reveal the label was wrong all along. Left unaddressed, this pattern doesn't stay quiet. People start turning down promotions they're qualified for. They over-prepare for meetings that don't need it, trading sleep and time with people they love for one more hour of insurance against being caught unprepared. Some stop raising their hand in rooms where their perspective actually matters, and the room gets a little worse for it. The cost isn't just personal, it's every idea, every promotion, every bold move that never happened because the person capable of it talked themselves out of trying. So if the problem is a rigged internal accounting system, the fix isn't more achievements. You can't outperform a distortion. You have to change how you're keeping score. If imposter syndrome is a scorekeeping problem, then the fix has to target the scorekeeping itself. Here are 4 ways to do that, starting today. Step 1. Separate the event from the explanation. When something goes well, write down what actually happened, not what you think it means. Instead of, "I got lucky in that meeting," try, "I answered the client's question and she nodded." Just the facts, no story attached yet. This works because it interrupts the automatic bias before it has a chance to explain away the win. Step 2. Keep a running list of evidence, not compliments. Compliments feel good for a minute and then evaporate. Evidence sticks. Start a note on your phone called Proof, and every time you solve something hard, log 1 sentence about what you did. 6 months from now, when your brain insists you don't know what you're doing, you'll have 100 entries proving otherwise, in your own words. Step 3. Ask one specific question instead of carrying a vague fear. Vague fear sounds like, "What if they find out I'm not good enough?" That's not answerable, so it just sits there and grows. Specific questions are answerable. Try asking yourself, what exactly would someone need to see to conclude I can't do this job? Usually, when you try to answer that honestly, you can't come up with much. Naming the fear in concrete terms takes away most of its power. Step 4. Say the quiet comparison out loud to someone you trust. Text a friend or colleague, "I felt like a fraud in that meeting today, even though it went well." You'll find that almost everyone has felt this exact thing, including the people you assumed had it all figured out. Imposter syndrome survives in silence. It weakens the moment you say it out loud to someone who won't use it against you. None of this is about becoming someone who never doubts themselves. Doubt isn't the enemy here. The enemy is a scoring system that only counts the losses. You've already done the hard work. You built the skills. Now the work is teaching your brain to actually believe the evidence it's been collecting the whole time. If this hit close to home, tell us in the comments about a moment you accomplished something and immediately explained it away. You might be surprised how many other people in this comment section recognize themselves in your story too. And if you want more videos that make sense of the way your mind works, subscribe to Wiser You. We break down the psychology behind the moments that shape how you see yourself. This has been Wiser You. See you in the next one.